This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Dr. Salim Faraji. He is a pastor here at the Christ Our Redeemer AME Church in Irvine, California. He is also a professor at Concordia University in Irvine, and he has launched a new program focusing on the continent of Africa.
Yes, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to hear about the focus of your program
Yes.
and the intersection of your work at Concordia with your work here at AME.
Yes, definitely. Well, number one, we're very, very excited. The program that we've just launched at Concordia University, Irvine, it's a Master of Arts in International Studies with a focus in Africa. It's a one-year graduate degree, 38 units, and it allows students to come in and focus on 3 areas on the African continent.
Please.
1, entrepreneurialism and management and leadership. Number 2, global health. And then number 3, international education.
Can we start with health?
Yes.
And I want to talk about all 3. I have a close friend who went on a mission, actually, to Africa, a medical mission.
Yes.
It was for about 2 weeks. It was in Sierra Leone.
Yes.
I recall him telling me that the country of Sierra Leone has 5 million people and 5 gynecologists.
Yes.
5.
5.
For 5 million people.
For 5 million people.
I was rendered speechless and just wanted to cry. I am sure you know those statistics and more.
Yes.
Tell me more about the health situation on the continent of Africa.
Well, you know what, let me just say this. The Pew Research Forum just released a study maybe about a month or 2 ago on the priority areas that Africans themselves have identified as urgent. And the 3 areas, of course, were education, and then, of course, power and electricity, and then, of course, health. Health is key. The country we're going to be in is Ghana, West Africa.
Which I hear is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, Ghana
I hear
Ghana
topography is...
It's an excellent, it's a
Right.
beautiful country. They don't have as severe limitations as Sierra Leone in terms of, just 5 gynecologists. But nonetheless, the overall health situation can always be improved and strengthened in terms of equipment to deliver health services,
Right.
as well as the number of health personnel, physicians, and doctors. And then not only that, health education.
Right.
So our students aren't training to be physicians or doctors, but they are training to facilitate public health and health education. And many of them will serve as interns at clinics
Right.
and health facilities to promote public health education, to support nurses, to support physicians, and so forth.
Is there a HIV crisis in Ghana?
I wouldn't describe it as a crisis in Ghana. It certainly exists. It's certainly there to the extent that the government has to educate the populace on it and so forth.
What I've learned about HIV in Africa, and I guess it's more southern Africa, is that while in America, Europe, a lot of HIV focuses on the gay community, IV drug users. In Africa, it's an equal opportunity offender.
Yes.
It's in all communities.
Yes.
And so is that part of your mission? Is, even though Ghana may not be as afflicted,
yes.
to give that health education about HIV prevention?
Well, definitely, HIV is always an issue on the African continent. But there are also other issues in terms of the life expectancy of children, access to proper health care. As you mentioned before, having an adequate number of doctors to serve a particular demographic.
What about vaccinations?
So, vaccinations is also another issue as well that we want our students, again, to educate and support what's there in Ghana
it's
on the ground.
interesting. As you know, here in California, there's tremendous controversy about vaccinations.
In fact, there was legislation just passed, just, I think, requiring.
And there are many folks who are upset about it, whereas in Africa, they would do anything they could to get the access to vaccines. So it really shows kind of the tale of 2 cities. Entrepreneurship. Tell us about that element of your program.
Entrepreneurship, there are many business opportunities. Oftentimes when we hear Africa, we do hear about the health challenges, HIV and AIDS, or we hear about, failed states, or we hear about, Al-Shabaab in Somalia, or Boko Haram in Nigeria. But people don't realize that The Economist just came out, the business magazine, maybe a couple of years ago, the 7 fastest growing economies in the world are on the African continent.
Really?
And this is going to continue up until 2020.
And how do you work? You mentioned failed states. How do you help your students work through economies with no bureaucracy, tremendous corruption? Even
Fortunately for us, we're not beginning in those states like that.
You're in Ghana.
We're in Ghana.
Right.
We're considering Namibia in a couple years, and then possibly Ethiopia and Kenya maybe 4 or 5 years down the road. But right now we're looking at Ghana and Namibia, and those 2 countries are democratic countries. Those 2 countries, the states are
they're functioning.
Fully functioning. Those 2 countries have a tremendous amount of foreign direct investment coming in.
Right.
Those 2 countries have growing and thriving economies. So it's going to serve as a dynamic environment for our students to learn how to navigate the
What was the
continent.
third area you mentioned? Entrepreneurship, health.
Yes, international education. Yes, global education.
Talk to me, please.
Right. So we just for instance, we have one student who, when he gets to Ghana, he wants to work in the school. He wants to teach children, and not only that, but he wants to develop, help develop curriculum. I mean, even things that we do at this church, like this church, our church is very focused on financial dignity and financial equality, and teaching people the skills of business and commerce and trade and so forth, even at the level of high school, right? Which we do here. So to transfer those skills to a Ghanaian context, because Africa has the largest youth population in the world. So what we want to do is partner with these young people on the continent and around entrepreneurialism, but also around education, because entrepreneurialism comes through education.
So Concordia, is it a faith-based institution?
Yes.
So how
it's a Lutheran University.
Okay, so
yes.
how does faith, in the best sense,
Yes.
play into the mission of this new master's program?
Well, just our motto at Concordia University is we're cultivating wise and honorable citizens, right? Who are committed to developing and empowering humanity and representing the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is to look at the world from the perspective of the vulnerable, the voiceless, and the victimized.
And are Ghanaians, do they have a Christian history?
Oh, yes.
It's a more Christian nation as opposed to Muslim, for example?
Yes,
Is that fair?
yes, yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. Of course, Islam exists in Ghana.
Of course,
Muslims in Ghana,
everywhere.
But the backbone of Ghana is probably traditional cultures, cultures, and then Christianity, which has been in Ghana for a few hundred years. I mean, probably more than that. So Christianity is thriving in Ghana. There are a number of Lutheran churches, Baptist churches, Methodist churches, Roman Catholic, Anglican, AME Church.
I mean, is that you think of African AME, but it's such an American institution.
Yes, AME Church is in Ghana. Not only that, the AME Church is throughout Africa.
Really?
We have 6 Episcopal districts all throughout the African continent. Not only in West Africa, but also Central and Southern and East Africa. So yes.
So the program's launched.
The program is launched.
Will you be
We are
going
excited.
to Ghana?
We are going to Ghana the end of December.
Have you been, I presume?
Yes, I've been traveling back and forth to Ghana for 10 years now.
If I may ask,
I was just there in April, countless times.
if I may ask, do you know if you're of Ghanaian descent?
Wow, it's funny you would ask that. Maybe I am. I actually did a paternal DNA test.
Right.
But my ethnicity went back to Cameroon, which is another West African country. So,
his name is Salim Faraji. He is a PhD. He is a minister. He is a pastor with Concordia University, and of course here at Christ Our Redeemer AME Church. I'm Brad Pomerance. This is Charter Local Edition.